First strike. The UES Starweaver hung motionless against the backdrop of stars, its quantum camouflage rendering it invisible to even the most advanced detection systems. Commander Elena Torres stood at the bridge's observation window, her dark eyes fixed on the distant flashes of weapons fire. The Drachnid raiders had been terrorizing this sector for months, preying on civilian transport ships with increasing boldness. "Status report," she commanded, turning to face her crew. The bridge of the Starweaver was unlike anything else in known space. No traditional controls, just neural interfaces and holographic displays that responded to thought as much as touch. Lieutenant Marcus Chen's fingers danced through the air, manipulating the sensor readouts. 3 Drachnid warships, Commander. They're targeting a Meridian colony ship. Civilian vessel, approximately 2,000 souls aboard. He paused, his expression darkening. Life support systems are failing. They won't last another 10 minutes. The bridge fell silent. For 30 years, humanity had hidden in the shadows of space, watching, learning, and preparing. The Meridians were one of the first species they'd discovered, peaceful astronomers and philosophers who had no concept of warfare. Their ships were works of art, designed to inspire wonder rather than fear. "Lieutenant Chen, tactical analysis," Elena ordered, though she'd already made her decision. Drachnid vessels are using borrowed tech, mostly stolen from the species they've raided. Their shields are primitive compared to ours, and their weapons rely on brute force rather than efficiency. Chen's voice carried a note of professional disdain. "We could disable all 3 ships without casualties if we time our strikes correctly." Elena nodded, a slight smile playing at the corners of her mouth. "Executive Officer Reynolds, contact Naval Command. Tell them Operation Daybreak is now in effect." "Ma'am." Reynolds looked up sharply. "Are you sure? Once we reveal ourselves, everything changes." Elena finished. "Yes, I know. But we didn't spend 3 decades preparing just to watch innocents die." She straightened her midnight blue uniform. "Tactical. Prepare quantum disruptors. Target their weapon systems and engines only. Let's show them what humanity can do." The Starweaver's stealth field rippled and fell away, revealing a ship that seemed to absorb starlight itself. Its hull was smooth and angular, covered in geometric patterns that pulsed with subtle energy. No visible weapons marred its surface, but power readings suddenly spiked across every sensor in the sector. "This is Commander Elena Torres of the United Earth ship Starweaver." Her voice carried across all frequencies, translated instantly into multiple languages. "Drachnid vessels, power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. This is your only warning." The response was predictable. A barrage of plasma torpedoes and energy weapons, enough firepower to vaporize a small moon. The shots passed harmlessly through the Starweaver's position. Holographic displacement successful, the ship's AI reported calmly. "Enemy targeting systems are locked on our phantom image." Elena allowed herself a small smile. Show them why humanity chose to perfect understanding rather than just stealing technology. Disable their primary systems. The Starweaver moved like liquid lightning, its quantum drive allowing it to ignore conventional physics. Precision beams of concentrated energy lanced out, striking exactly the right points to overload the Drachnid's stolen technology. Their weapons fell silent, their engines sputtered and died, and their shields collapsed, all without a single loss of life. "Impossible." The Drachnid commander's voice boomed across the comm channels. "No single ship could understand technology well enough to exploit its weaknesses." Elena interrupted. "That's the difference between stealing knowledge and earning it. We've watched, we've learned, and we've improved upon everything we've seen. Your raid ends here." As the Meridian colony ship's crew watched in amazement, the Starweaver extended its quantum field around their vessel, stabilizing their failing life support. Elena opened a channel to their bridge. "This is Commander Torres. Your people are safe now." She paused, choosing her next words carefully. "Humanity has been watching from the shadows for a long time. We chose to wait, to learn, to understand before we reveal ourselves. But we can't stand by and watch innocents suffer any longer. The Meridian captain's voice trembled with emotion. Who are you? Really? Elena looked out at the stars, thinking of all the reports she'd read, all the atrocities they'd witnessed while maintaining their silence. We're your neighbors who chose to learn before we spoke. We're the ones who waited until we could help rather than harm. And now, we're your allies, if you'll have us. The quantum sensors detected hundreds of ships dropping out of FTL at the edge of the system. More raiders, drawn by the distress signals. Elena's smile grew wider. All hands, battle stations, she commanded. Let's show the galaxy exactly what humanity can do. The Starweaver's engines flared to life, its quantum field expanding as it prepared to defend its new allies. Humanity's age of observation was over. The age of action had begun. The ripple effect. The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Concordat hadn't seen this much activity in over 3 centuries. Representatives from 100 spacefaring civilizations filled the massive amphitheater, their voices creating a cacophony of different languages as they debated the latest development that had shaken their understood order, humanity's emergence. High Counselor Vexera of the Meridian Federation stood at the central podium, her crystalline form catching the light from the chamber's artificial sun. The recording she'd just shown, of a single human vessel neutralizing 3 Drachnid warships while saving thousands of Meridian lives, had silenced even the most skeptical voices. The evidence is undeniable, she announced, her translator converting her harmonious tones into standard galactic common. For 3 standard cycles, the human vessel designated Starweaver has continued to protect civilian shipping lanes across 6 sectors. They've disabled 47 raider vessels, eliminated 3 slave trading operations, and established a defensive perimeter around 3 refugee worlds, all without a single casualty. In the upper tier, Ambassador Cruel of the Drachnid Imperium shifted uncomfortably, and we're supposed to believe they've been watching us for decades without detection. Impossible. They must have had help, must have stolen technology. A new voice cut through the chamber. Commander Elena Torres strode through the main entrance, her midnight blue uniform drawing every eye. She moved with the quiet confidence of someone who belonged exactly where they were, despite this being humanity's first official appearance before the Concordat. Like your people do, Ambassador. The chamber erupted in whispers. Elena approached the central platform, nodding respectfully to Vexera before taking her position. The holographic displays around her came to life, showing detailed schematics of various species' technological developments over the past century. We didn't steal, we learned, Elena continued. We watched as the Meridians developed quantum mathematics to map stellar phenomena. We observed as the Pax Collective created the first stable artificial intelligence. We studied how the Drachnid Imperium's stolen technology failed because they never understood the underlying principles. She gestured, and the holograms shifted to show the UES Starweaver. Every advancement humanity has made came from understanding, not theft. We chose to perfect our knowledge before revealing ourselves, to ensure we could help rather than harm. From the diplomatic section, Representative Zinn of the Pax Collective raised their primary appendage. Yet you chose violence for your first contact. Elena's expression remained calm. We chose to prevent violence. The difference is crucial. The holograms changed again, showing recordings from hundreds of observation posts. For 30 years, we've witnessed countless atrocities. We've documented every raid, every slave trade, every act of conquest. We waited, we learned, and we prepared, not just technologically, but ethically. The chamber fell silent as images of human ships appeared, dozens of them, each as advanced as the Starweaver, positioned throughout known space. We could have conquered. We could have dominated. Instead, we chose to protect. High Counselor Vexera moved forward. The Meridian Federation formally proposes humanity's acceptance into the Galactic Concordat, with full member status. The chamber erupted again, but this time Ambassador Krull's voice rose above the rest. And what guarantee do we have that humans won't use their advanced technology to subjugate us all? Their ships are clearly superior, because we already could have. Elena's words cut through the noise. She gestured one final time, and the hologram showed something that made several representatives gasp. Detailed schematics of their most secret military installations, defensive weaknesses, strategic vulnerabilities. We've had this information for years. We chose to protect rather than conquer. She straightened, her voice carrying to every corner of the chamber. Humanity doesn't seek dominion. We seek partnership. We've learned from each of you, your achievements, your mistakes, your potential. Now we offer what we've learned in return. The Pact's collective representatives' crystalline surface rippled with interest. And what exactly do humans offer besides military protection? Elena smiled. Understanding. Not just of technology, but of cooperation. We've spent 30 years studying how civilizations rise and fall. We've seen how isolation breeds fear, how fear breeds conflict, and how conflict breeds destruction. We offer a different path. The hologram shifted one final time, showing plans for joint scientific ventures, cultural exchange programs, and cooperative defense initiatives. Humanity stands ready to share everything we've learned, not through theft or coercion, but through mutual understanding and respect. High Counselor Vexra's voice carried the weight of authority. The motion to accept humanity into the Concordat is now open for voting. As the representatives began their deliberations, Elena noticed movement in the shadows of the upper tier. Her quantum-enhanced senses detected energy readings that shouldn't have been there, patterns that suggested hidden weapons. Humanity's debut on the galactic stage had certainly drawn attention, not all of it friendly. She subtly activated her neural link to the Starweaver. Security alert, she subvocalized. Possible hostile elements in the chamber. Stand by for emergency protocols. The real test of humanity's emergence was just beginning. They had shown they could fight. Now they would need to prove they could lead, protect, and unite, all while watching for knives in the dark. The fate of not just humanity, but the entire galactic community hung in the balance. The ripples of their revelation were about to become waves, and Elena Torres stood ready to navigate whatever storms might come. Hidden hand. Admiral James Chen stood in the heart of Observation Post Omega, Earth's most closely guarded secret. A massive holographic display filled the circular chamber, showing the movements of every known ship in the galaxy. 30 years of patient observation had created this masterpiece of intelligence gathering, and now it was showing him something troubling. "Play it again," he ordered, his weathered face illuminated by the shifting lights. The AI complied, replaying the sensor data from the Concordat chamber incident. Hidden weapons, unauthorized quantum signatures, and energy patterns that shouldn't exist based on known technological levels. Analysis complete, the AI announced. 97% probability that the technology detected in the Concordat chamber originated from Sector 17. James felt his blood run cold. Sector 17, the dead zone. 30 years ago, when humanity first began its secret observation of the galaxy, they'd discovered an entire sector of space devoid of all life. Thousands of worlds, all bearing signs of an advanced civilization, all completely abandoned. "Show me the archives," he commanded. The holographic display shifted, showing decades of accumulated data. The dead zone had been humanity's first and greatest discovery in space, and its greatest mystery. An entire civilization, seemingly more advanced than any other in the galaxy, had simply vanished without a trace. "Commander Torres," he activated the quantum comm. "Report status." Elena's hologram materialized in the chamber. "The Concordat vote is proceeding, sir, but there's more. During the session, I detected advanced technology that shouldn't exist," James finished. "We know it matches dead zone signatures." Elena's expression hardened. "Sir, if someone has accessed dead zone tech, then everything we've prepared for might not be enough. James moved through the holographic display, decades of classified information flowing around him. What's the status of Operation Oracle? Dr. Sarah Martinez is ready to present her findings to the Concordat. But sir, if we reveal what we know about the dead zone. James nodded grimly. We risk panic, but we might not have a choice anymore. He gestured, and new holograms appeared. Images of the massive underground facilities beneath every major human city, the quantum shield network spanning the entire solar system, the fleets of advanced ships hidden in dimensional pockets throughout space. For 30 years, we prepared for every scenario we could imagine, he said. We built our technology from understanding rather than theft. We created defenses based on knowledge rather than fear. But the dead zone. He paused, studying the ancient ruins that had haunted humanity's leaders for decades. The dead zone showed us what we could become, or what could happen to us if we failed. Alina's hologram walked through the display, studying the data. The drachnids, the raiders, the slave traders, they were never the real threat, were they? They were just the obvious problems, the ones we could deal with openly. They were the practice run, James confirmed. Every intervention, every ship we revealed, every technology we displayed, it was all carefully calculated. We needed to show strength without showing everything, because something eliminated an entire civilization more advanced than any other we've encountered, and we still don't know what or why. New alerts flashed across the display. More quantum signatures appearing in unexpected places, more advanced technology being detected where it shouldn't exist. The pattern was becoming clear, and it was terrifying. Someone found the dead zone archives, Alina realized. They're using the technology, but they don't understand it. Just like the drachnids with their stolen tech. Worse, James corrected. They don't care that they don't understand it. And now that humanity has revealed itself as a major power, he let the implications hang in the air. Alina's hologram straightened. What are my orders, Admiral? James studied the galaxy map one last time, watching as more unauthorized quantum signatures appeared. Proceed with Operation Oracle. Dr. Martinez needs to present her findings to the Concordat. The galaxy needs to understand what they're dealing with. And if it causes panic, then we'll do what humanity does best. We'll face the challenge together, with understanding rather than fear. James activated the command protocols that would bring Earth's hidden fleets to full alert. We spent 30 years preparing for the worst, Commander. Let's hope we prepared enough. As Alina's hologram faded, James watched the galaxy map with growing concern. Humanity had hidden in the shadows, learning and preparing, building their strength with patience and wisdom. But now the shadows were moving, and something that had once destroyed an entire civilization was stirring again. The real test of humanity's preparation was about to begin. They had studied history to avoid repeating it. Now they would have to make history to survive it. Alliance and betrayal. Dr. Sarah Martinez stood before the emergency session of the Galactic Concordat, her hand steady despite the weight of what she was about to reveal. The chamber was packed with representatives from every major civilization, drawn by rumors of a threat that transcended their political differences. 30 years ago, she began, humanity discovered something that changed our understanding of the galaxy. The holographic display activated, showing the dead zone in all its haunting emptiness. An entire civilization, more advanced than any we've encountered, simply vanished. But they left something behind. A warning. The display shifted, showing complex mathematical equations and quantum patterns that made several representatives gasp. These aren't just ruins, Sarah continued. They're a message, encoded in the fabric of space-time itself. We've spent 3 decades decoding it, and now we know why they disappeared. Ambassador Cruel of the Drachnid Imperium leaned forward. And why should we trust human interpretations of? Because we didn't interpret alone. Sarah interrupted, nodding to her colleagues. 3 figures stepped forward. A meridian crystalline scientist, a Pax Collective quantum mathematician, and surprisingly, a Drachnid theoretical physicist. For the past year, we've worked together in secret, sharing our understanding. What we found. The young Drachnid physicist, Dr. Vex, took over. The patterns are undeniable. The civilization we call the predecessors didn't just vanish, they ran. They encoded a warning about entities they called the Void Hunters, beings that exist in the spaces between dimensions, drawn to advanced quantum technology like predators to prey. The chamber erupted in chaos. High Counselor Vexra's voice cut through the noise. If this threat is real, why reveal it now? Commander Elena Torres stepped forward, her expression grim. Because someone has been accessing predecessor technology from the dead zone. Without understanding the warnings encoded within it, they're about to ring the dinner bell. New holograms appeared, showing the spread of unauthorized quantum signatures throughout the galaxy. Sarah's voice carried the weight of scientific certainty. Each activation of poorly understood predecessor tech creates ripples in space-time. The Void Hunters followed these ripples to find their prey. And now the ripples are beginning again, Dr. Vex finished. But this time, we have a chance to prepare, if we work together. A blinding flash of light interrupted him. When it faded, Ambassador Cruel stood holding a device that hummed with familiar quantum energy. Prepare, he laughed. The Drachnid Imperium has already prepared. For months, we've been gathering predecessor artifacts, learning their secrets. With their power, we'll rule the galaxy. You fool. Elena stepped forward, but Kroll's guards materialized around him, each holding similar devices. You're using technology you don't understand. Understanding is for the weak. Cruel snarled. Power is all that matters. And now, thanks to human interference bringing the Concordat together, we can eliminate every potential rival in one stroke. The devices in his guards' hands began to pulse with energy. But before they could activate, Sarah's voice rang out. Now, Admiral. The chamber's quantum shield snapped into place. Not predecessor tech, but pure human innovation. Admiral Chen's voice came through the comm system. Did you really think we'd reveal the truth without taking precautions? Kroll's smile didn't waver. Did you think we wouldn't plan for human interference? He pressed a sequence on his device, and suddenly quantum ruptures began appearing throughout the galaxy map. Dead zone artifacts, planted on every major world. If we can't rule the galaxy, we'll let the Void Hunters have it. The chamber's sensors screamed as space-time began to tear. Through the ruptures, something began to emerge. Shapes that hurt the mind to look at, beings that existed in more dimensions than organic eyes could process. The fool's actually done it, Dr. Vex whispered. He's called them. Elena's quantum comm crackled. Commander, we're detecting ruptures across all sectors. The Starweaver's sensors indicate massive entities emerging from dimensional space. They're heading for every world with active quantum technology. Sarah grabbed Kroll's arm. You have to shut them down. The predecessor's warning was clear. The hunters don't just kill, they consume entire civilizations, storing them in pocket dimensions for eternal study. That's why the dead zone is empty. But Kroll's eyes were wide with madness. Then let them come. Let them consume everything. The Imperium would rather see the galaxy destroyed than share power with primitives who think understanding matters more than strength. Elena's command voice cut through the chaos. Admiral, initiate Protocol Omega. All ships implement the predecessor defense algorithms. Dr. Martinez, it's time for Phase 2. Sarah nodded grimly, pulling out a quantum core that pulsed with carefully controlled energy. We didn't just study the predecessor's warning, she announced. We studied their failures, their attempts to fight back. And we learned what they couldn't accomplish alone. The holographic display showed human ships across the galaxy taking up strategic positions, their quantum cores pulsing in a precise pattern. Not the raw, uncontrolled power of stolen predecessor tech, but something new, human innovation combined with genuine understanding. The Void Hunters are drawn to quantum disruptions, Sarah explained as she worked. The predecessors tried to hide, to run, to fight. But we've learned to do something else entirely. The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance as the Void Hunters emerged, their impossible forms distorting reality itself. Humanity's long preparation was about to face its ultimate test, not just of technology or power, but of their fundamental approach to facing the unknown. Understanding, not theft. Cooperation, not domination. Innovation born from knowledge rather than blind acquisition. Everything humanity had worked for had led to this moment. And in the quantum-shielded chamber of the Galactic Concordat, surrounded by representatives of 100 species, Sarah Martinez prepared to implement humanity's answer to a threat that had once consumed a civilization greater than their own. The true purpose of humanity's hidden hand was about to be revealed. Rising dawn. The galaxy burned with quantum fire. Void Hunters emerged from dimensional rifts across thousands of systems, their impossible geometries warping the fabric of space-time. Ambassador Krull's Dead Man Switch had activated every hidden predecessor artifact, creating a cascade of uncontrolled quantum events that lit up the galaxy like a beacon to these ancient predators. But humanity was ready. All ships activate synchronized quantum matrices. Admiral Chen's voice carried across the emergency channels. The UES Starweaver led the formation, its carefully engineered quantum core pulsing in perfect harmony, with hundreds of other human vessels strategically positioned throughout known space. In the Concordat chamber, Dr. Sarah Martinez worked furiously at her controls, coordinating with her diverse team of scientists. The predecessors tried to fight dimension with dimension. She explained as she worked. They thought they could match the Hunters' power. That was their mistake. Dr. Vex, the young Drachnid physicist who had helped decode the warnings, understood first. They tried to outfight them, but you're trying to outsmart them. Exactly. Sarah's hands flew across the quantum interface. The Hunters are drawn to quantum disruptions like predators to movement. So we're not going to hide, and we're not going to fight. We're going to dance. Commander Elena Torres watched as the holographic display showed the Void Hunters' movements. These entities defied conventional physics, existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, and had consumed an entire civilization more advanced than any currently living species. But they weren't invincible. They were following patterns, behaviors, laws of their own nature. All ships implement Protocol Omega, Elena commanded. Execute the quantum dance. Across the galaxy, human vessels began moving in precise, calculated patterns. Their quantum cores pulsed not with raw power, but with carefully orchestrated frequencies. The Void Hunters, drawn to quantum energy, followed these pulses like moths to flame. They're responding, Admiral Chen reported. Beginning Phase 2. The Meridian crystalline scientists, working in perfect harmony with their human counterparts, activated their resonance chambers. The Pax Collective's quantum mathematicians fed real-time calculations into the network. Even those Drachnids who had rejected Krull's madness joined in, their understanding of spatial dynamics proving crucial. This is what humanity spent 30 years preparing for, Sarah explained to the assembled representatives. Not just the technology, but the cooperation. The understanding that no single species, no matter how advanced, could face this alone. The holographic display showed the results of their combined effort. The Void Hunters, following the quantum dance, were being drawn into specific patterns. Each human ship's carefully controlled pulses created a web of quantum frequencies, a mathematical symphony that the Hunters couldn't resist following. Now, Elena ordered, reveal the trap. In every sector where human ships danced with the Hunters, new devices activated. Not weapons, but something far more elegant. Quantum harmonizers, built from genuine understanding of both predecessor science and the fundamental laws that govern even beings like the Void Hunters. The predecessors tried to match their power, Sarah said. We're using their own nature against them. Every quantum pulse, every calculated movement, is part of a larger pattern. We're not fighting them. We're teaching them a new dance. The Hunters, drawn by the quantum web, found themselves moving in increasingly complex patterns. Each pulse, each ship's movement, each carefully calculated frequency drew them further into a mathematical cage of their own making. Final phase, Admiral Chen commanded. All ships, activate quantum lockdown. The trap closed. The hunters, following the irresistible pattern of quantum energy, had arranged themselves into a precise geometric formation. When the lockdown activated, they found themselves caught in a quantum resonance field of unprecedented complexity. What we learned from the predecessors wasn't just about technology, Sarah explained as the hunters struggled against their mathematical prison. It was about understanding. They exist in multiple dimensions, yes, but they still follow rules, laws, patterns. Once we understood those patterns, we could use them. Dr. Vex finished, watching in awe as the Void Hunters were forced back through their dimensional rifts, their own multidimensional nature turned against them by the quantum resonance field. The galaxy map showed the results. Everywhere the quantum dance had been performed, the hunters were retreating, forced back into their own dimensional space by a trap that used their very nature against them. Not through superior firepower or advanced technology, but through genuine understanding of the fundamental principles that governed even such alien beings. In the aftermath, as the quantum rifts sealed and the galaxy began to calm, Elena addressed the Concordat. This is what humanity offers the galaxy, not just protection, not just technology, but understanding. We spent 30 years learning not just how to build ships and weapons, but how to truly comprehend the universe and its laws. High Counselor Vexer's crystalline form shimmered with emotion. And what of the hunters? Will they return? They'll try, Sarah admitted. But now we know how to deal with them. Not through power alone, but through knowledge, through cooperation, through understanding. The quantum cores of human ships across the galaxy pulsed in a new pattern, not a warning or a weapon, but a beacon, a signal to any other civilizations that might be facing similar threats. You are not alone. We understand. We can help. As the emergency session of the Concordat concluded, Admiral Chen sent one final message across all frequencies. For 30 years, humanity watched and learned. Now we stand ready not just to fight, but to teach, not just to protect, but to understand. The age of hiding is over. The age of cooperation has begun. The UEA's Starweaver's quantum core pulsed one final time, its energy reaching across the galaxy. Not in fear or defiance, but in promise. Humanity had emerged from the shadows not just as warriors or guardians, but as teachers. They had faced an ancient horror not through superior firepower, but through superior understanding. And in doing so, they had shown the galaxy a new way forward, not through theft or domination, but through knowledge. Not through fear, but through comprehension. Not alone, but together. The rising dawn of a new age had begun.